And welcome back to Closing Time. I'm Rendy Bradshaw.
I'm Amanda Armstrong.
And today we thought we would switch it up a little bit and do our rapid fire questions at the beginning. So
Yeah.
here we go. We've got some good ones. Some realtor fails.
Realtor fails.
Okay.
So have you ever gone to the wrong house?
I haven't. What about you?
Yes. Yes. In our own neighborhood. I was showing a house that wasn't, it was in the Pride Being Listed Network.
Yeah.
Didn't have a sign in the front yard yet. And the agent said, hey, we had left the key, the sellers left the key in the planter at their front door, left planter. So I'm like, sweet. So I go to the house and I'm digging in the planter. And I'm like, oh, maybe they meant the right planter. So then I go to the right planter. It's not in there either. And then I look at right there in brick. I had the numbers wrong for the address.
Oh, no. That's
so
easy
it was
to do.
down the street and across. It was so embarrassing. They had a Ring doorbell, and I said to the Ring doorbell, hi, I'm Amanda Armstrong, an agent at Remax Rising. I'm so sorry. I'm at the wrong house. I'm trying to show over here.
Please don't call the police.
Yes, I'm safe. But that was really embarrassing.
That's funny.
At least my clients weren't there yet.
That's easy
That
to
would've been
do
funny.
on the PLN when there's no sign in the yard.
Yeah.
And in our neighborhood, I'm not making excuses, but in our neighborhood, a lot of the houses do look very similar.
They do.
Tall brick,
They
two-story
said on
homes.
the counter, or on the counter, on
Yeah.
the corner. And I'm like, oh, okay. And it was,
Yeah, well,
Well, never
live
made
in-
that mistake again.
you live and you learn.
I guess that's why you make mistakes. You learn.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, what's the most awkward thing a client has said at a showing? That's a hard one. And I don't want to incriminate anybody because if anyone is watching this, let's skip that one. Let's skip
Wait,
that one.
but what about, like, after a few showings, couples get so comfortable with you that they will straight up have the worst fight that they've ever had in their
That's
relationship.
so true.
Right in
That's
front of
true.
you. And you're, like, trying to, like, leave the room, like, do-do-do-do-do.
That's when your, like,
Yeah.
mom hacks come in like,
Yeah.
okay, guys, so let's
Yeah.
refocus.
What do you think about this window?
What would you do with this space?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
would make a great place. Oh my gosh, 2 living spaces. When you guys are mad at each other, you can leave.
Exactly.
You have your
Exactly.
own spaces to go to.
TV here, TV
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you had a lockbox horror story?
Oh my gosh, I've had one be frozen.
Oh.
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, I sat in my car and put it between my legs and tried to warm it up. I didn't know what else to do. I was calling the listing agent to be like, hey, is there a garage code? And, you can't always answer your phone every single time. So the listing agent didn't get back to me. So I just sat in my car long enough, turned on the defroster, and just like gave it some body warmth. And finally it opened up. But I stood out there trying to open it for a little bit. I mean, I guess it's not a horror story, but it was very unfortunate.
Does anybody else put the butter from Panera Bread underneath their legs so they can have it melted a little bit for their baguette when you dip it in your soup?
Underneath, no, that's a
No,
good hack
just me.
though. Maybe slip it in your top.
Well, yeah, because I'm eating like my half sandwich, my
Yeah.
pick 2, my sandwich, and my soup. And so the butter's always too hard to actually put
Yeah.
on the bread. So I stick it under my legs and I let it sit for a while. I eat my sandwich and I'm ready for my soup. It's perfectly melted and I can just scoop it.
Life hack.
Like half. But yeah, I've had a lockbox horror
Yeah, what
story.
was it?
So, I mean, it is the worst when you're sitting at the front door and you're trying to get the Super app to work, and then it needs to update because you forgot to update it before you left the house. So that's lesson learned.
Yep.
And you're fumbling with it, and the key pops out, and the deck is full of snow,
No.
and you can't find it. And then you found out it actually, because the slats were a little larger, it went through the snow, through the slat, underneath.
How did you get it?
I had to call and ask for another key because I couldn't. I mean, there was no way to get underneath. Like it was sectioned off. Like I don't know if there was a lattice or something. So
Yeah.
that's always the worst, fumbling at the front door with the lockbox. But that is why first impressions matter because a buyer spends a lot of time on that front porch while we're opening that super box.
That's right.
So make sure everything is freshly painted and neat.
Totally.
Yeah.
Good point. Have you ever done like a full day of showings and then gotten home and you had a key?
Yeah.
And you didn't know which house it went to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I always knew. I knew what house it was.
Okay. I've just seen the memes where they're like, found a key. This is a nightmare.
Yes.
Like every realtor's worst nightmare after a day of, because then if you don't know which one it was, you'd have to go back to each one. I haven't done that, but.
Have you locked the sellers out of their home? As you're the showing agent, have you locked the seller out?
I don't think so, but I can see how that would be easy to do because a lot of people
garage.
go in through the garage door.
Uh-huh.
And if you accidentally lock that as you're leaving, trying to,
Yeah.
leave their home secure.
Or you don't realize that your client locked it And then when the seller comes home,
yep.
they have no access to their home, and the listing agent is out of town, so you have to drive back and reopen it and then apologize for the mishap.
Oops.
That was one of our fails too. Have you ever, forgotten, like left with the key?
Oh, okay.
What about, have you ever had to run from a pet during a showing?
No.
Or have you ever seen something like a creepy animal in the house, like a tarantula in a cage or a rat or something like that?
I don't think I have.
I don't think
actually. I haven't had any. People are pretty good about keeping. I mean, people love their animals so much; they're pretty good. But I have been scared to death by a cat because the listing said the cat will hide. Whatever. Just don't let them out. So we're going through, and then all of a sudden the cat jumps over the couch and is like, and we're all just like, ah!
So much for hiding.
Yeah, I'm like running behind the buyer. The buyer's like, okay, so we know what happens in an emergency. You're like sacrificing us. I'm like, guys, that's not what I would do.
I always feel bad when the dogs are in their little kennels and they're just sitting there so cute.
Or barking their faces off at you.
That's true. That's true. Then you realize, okay, this is the safe space for us both.
That's less cute when they're doing that. Yeah.
What is your go-to line when you're totally winging it? Ooh, that's a hard one.
I don't know. I guess I would need to know more about what I'm winging it about.
That's true. I always reply when they ask me a question I don't know. I'm like, great question. It could be this or this or this, or great question. I'm going to have to research that one.
Yeah, great question.
I'm not good at winging it, honestly. I'm not a very good liar.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And you can tell probably if I'm being dishonest, like say something and you're like, that's not, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Like, yeah.
I would rather admit, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can't know everything. Great question. Let me find out for you.
Yeah, because we learn with every single transaction. At least I still learn with almost every single transaction.
Yeah, they're all different.
Yeah.
What's the last thing that you learned? She's like, all of a sudden, I don't know. I've never learned anything. I've never learned one thing in my life because you're on the spot.
Right. Great question. Let me get back to you. Okay, I think we got enough of those.
Yeah.
Let's get into actually what we're going to talk about today, which is
move-up buyers and how move-up buyers are back now.
They are back.
And we were kind of talking about this, and we're like, wait a minute, they were gone, and they totally were for a while because so many people got locked into the golden handcuffs of that 2%, 3% mortgage interest rate, and they felt like they were just stuck.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want it. It's hard to get over that interest rate sometimes.
Yes.
But it seems like moving in the last 6 months or so, people are starting to acclimate to the current climate and realize that 6%, 7% interest rate is not as terrible as we were thinking, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I think we just had a very lucky time for those who were in the market to purchase at that time, that you got a great interest rate. And then, so now it's like, okay, we have a great interest rate. What do we really need in a house? And now it's more thinking about their needs and what they need for their future and moving up. And
yes. So I think people, when they bought their quote unquote starter home, maybe didn't realize that it was going to be their starter home. Maybe they thought it was going to be enough room. And my husband and I went through this when we purchased our first home. It was a 4-bed, 2.5 bath. We were like, this house is huge coming from our, 2-bed condo. We're like, oh my gosh, how could we ever need anything more? Then we had our second child and we're like, wait a minute. Why are we all closed in?
Yes.
How is everyone on top of me every minute of the day? And a lot of that was just layout. The kitchen was small. I just didn't realize. You don't know until you know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How much space another child or an animal or a life change or a job change and you need an office in your house.
Office space.
Yes.
Or you were really got into cooking and you need a bigger kitchen space.
Yes.
Or maybe you need to take in a family member. So you have a multi-generational shift in your family dynamic, which needs more space.
Right. Which I feel like is becoming more common again.
That is definitely coming.
Yeah.
Here.
And you know what? I'm all for it. I would love for my mom to move back in with me. Please, Mom, come help.
I love you, Mom, but I think
if you're
4
listening,
days is plenty.
Every time my mom is at our house, like, and watching our children, I come home and it's never been cleaner. All the laundry's done. She cleaned out our fridge and our microwave.
It's amazing, like how do we survive like every day and still have to do all these things, and your mom comes and she's doing the same thing, but everything's spick and span.
Yeah. I don't know. She's just better at life than me, so that's okay. I'm still learning.
That's right, learning.
Yeah.
You're still young.
Yeah. So I think there are a few reasons why the move-up buyers are coming back, and we've kind of touched on some. A lot of people are choosing lifestyle over interest rate.
Yes.
For a while, it was like, this is too good to be true. I cannot ever let it go. And now they're thinking, okay, my life and my quality of life is more important than this. And I have enough equity in my home to put down a bigger down payment than I thought I could. So really, it's not a huge difference. You're making some of that interest rate up with the amount of your down payment.
Yes. So let's look at that house with the pool.
Yes.
Because that's what our family is needing at this time.
Yeah.
So all about
exactly. Also, rates are stabilizing. They're not as crazy up and down as they were for a while.
Right.
You know, we know what to expect. It's not like one day they're here, another day they drop, then they go up. So you're not having to have the anxiety of, do I lock in now or do I wait to lock in? Do I, you know?
And talking with local lenders here, they know our market dynamics and they know what's happening, and they, with our interest rates, and we're settling, 6.67 was kind of what we had.
I think that's what they said on Tuesday.
That's for obviously the ideal buyer, so it always does fluctuate.
Yeah.
But they know like what's happening. They know when the feds are going to be. They know what's going on, so they can kind of coach you a little bit on, okay, let's lock into something sooner, or hey, you know what, this is going to be coming down the line. They're thinking that the interest rates might lower a little bit. Let's hold off.
Yes. So speaking of our amazing local lenders, that is one tip that we have to make the move up buying journey a little bit easier. So understand your equity and what you can afford. So that's going to be working together with us and your lender to figure out what is your home worth and what do your payments look like at any given price point. Lose back.
Yes.
Another thing that you could do to kind of strategically make your move up a little smoother is decide whether you need to sell first, if you can buy first and then sell, or if they need to all line up perfectly, which we can do. We're good at that, actually.
We're good at that. And it takes some planning. It definitely takes some planning and some patience to figure out, okay, you know, how this is going to work. Do we put it in the private listing network and then just let it sit and then sell until you find something? I mean, there's just so many different ways to do it, and it's overwhelming. Yeah. For sure.
It can be.
So working with...
But I think we do a good job of breaking it down step by step, because when you try to do it all at once, you can't. But if you take one step at a time, then you have a short-term goal, a little bit of a midterm goal, and then a long-term goal, and it makes it seem a lot more doable.
Yeah. So speaking of move-up buyers, you know, this is what this is all about. Our upper-end inventory in Bloomington Normal has never been
hotter.
This hotter. Hotter. More hotter.
Never been more hotter.
So we are, I'm going to look, I have our stats right here from our meeting on Tuesday. We have got... There's 8 homes over $750,000 in the market. In the last 30 days, 7 have sold, and they have sold at 103% of listed sales price.
Yeah, so on average, those homes are selling 3% over what they're listed for.
Yeah, at that price point, it's insane. Normally, you would have something that's priced high, and then there's tons of room for negotiations.
Right.
But that's not what we're seeing right now. So if you're looking in that upper end, make sure you talk with an agent who understands the market and what's going on in all these price points, because it's happening at $400 to $400. It's happening $500 to $600. It's happening at, I think, at $400 plus.
And up, yeah.
And and they're going so fast. We've never had so many $1 million homes listed in a short period of time than we ever have this year.
And speaking of that, the upper end price range being so popular right now, it seems like the new construction price gap with the existing, there used to be a big price discrepancy between a new existing 5-bed home and an existing 5-bed home and a new construction 5-bed home. So much so that maybe new construction was off the table. But now that the upper end is so popular, the existing home prices rising, new construction is looking more attractive, and you can find what you want with this low inventory. You can just decide what you want.
Yeah, and you can build what you want.
Right.
Which is nice because there's still a lot of lots available. So if you're looking for new construction, we actually just did an episode on new construction that we will be putting out there for you guys. So if you have questions about it, you're kind of curious about the developments in Bloomington Normal, let us know. We'd be happy to guide you through that and connect you with one of our preferred builders.
Yeah, if you've been thinking about moving up, we'd love to just have a conversation with you. Just having a conversation with us does not mean that we are selling your house. You have to give us permission to do that. We will not do it without your permission. Right. I feel like a lot of times people don't want to reach out to us and just chat with us because they feel bad. Don't. This is our job. We love talking about houses. So just reach out to us. Yeah. If you've got questions. And don't forget to follow us on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Selling Below No. And check back. Yep. We'll be here.
Thanks.